Hello, welcome to Dungeon Dwellers Podcast. I'm your host, Justin. For Christmas month, we have to review a Jesus Christ movie. You just have to, right? So I chose Passion of Christ for a couple reasons. One, because, I'm a huge Mel Gibson fan. Yeah, I've never seen a lot of his directed movies. Like Apocalypto and this one. I think he directed Get the Gringo, but that might have been someone else. But yeah, I haven't really watched a lot of his directed movies. Even though, Trey Parker said, he's one of, that Mel Gibson's probably one of our greatest directors, living directors. And it's just, I've never gone around to seeing his movies, but I'm going to change that. I'm going to try to pick up Apocalypto soon, and we'll review that, which that one's supposed to be awesome. So we're reviewing the very controversial movie Passion of Christ, which came out 2004. It's a historical drama movie. It's directed and written by Mel Gibson. Benedict Fitzgerald also helped. The cast is Jim Caviezel as Jesus, and there's a lot of Italian actors in this movie because it was shot in Italy, or also known as Italia, which is what the rest of the world calls it. And you had some, for some reason, you had some Bulgarian actors too, Hristo Shopov, who's a Bulgarian actor, and so is another guy. The guy who plays John, Hristo Jikov, is also Bulgarian. Hristo Shopov plays Pontius Pilate, and you have obviously Jim Caviezel as Jesus, Maia Morgenstern as Mary, Monica Bellucci as Mary of Magdalene. I already said who John was. Francesco De Vito as Peter. And you have Rosalina Calentano as Satan, which I had no idea that was a girl. The first couple times I watched that movie, I just thought it was like a androgynous male or whatever. And you have Luca Lionello as Judas, who, yeah. So the reason why this review is so late, it's not just because I'm lazy. No, I actually watched this movie at noon, finished it around 2, and I was looking up stuff about the movie, researching the movie, and apparently, and then there was also there's a controversy that Jews didn't like it because it made them look bad, even though the Romans equally looked just as bad in the movie, but I guess the Jews didn't like how villainous they looked for whatever reason. Which is only really the high priest, and you had Jesus's trial kinda. You had one or two. You had two actual priests, rabbi, defend Jesus, right? And you had people Jews throughout the movies, that defend him and help him, right? So it's I felt the anti-Semitism claims only came from because of Mel Gibson's background, which if you want to know Mel Gibson's background, check out White Corey's podcast. Oh, you can't because he took it down because he got super drunk. I don't know. Maybe ask him. Maybe he has a private it or something, and you can share your link. So this movie had a budget of $30 million, made $612 million. This is supposedly the biggest, not biggest, sorry, this is this movie's earned the most money for an R-rated movie, right? You had Christians everywhere go to see this movie. I remember being a kid and I heard my my uncle and his church group went to go see this movie as well at a midnight screening or something like that. when it first came out. Which this was a big movie, and apparently we're getting a sequel in like 2022, which is going to be cool. It's going to be called Passion of the Christ Resurrection. So who knows if that actually come out, but Mel Gibson said he would. So I watched the commentary and some of the stuff. Apparently there was some stuff where like Jim Caviezel. There was like a scene where like he was shooting, I think it was in LA or whatever, where he was like shooting a scene. Like not all the shots are in like Italy. There's like there's some shots where they did it in like a soundstage. There's like apparently he tells a story about how like he almost got hit by lightning and like the lightning bolt like hit behind him and like it illuminated him in front of everybody. And like it and people like it was a very spiritual moment. Like even during the shooting of the movie, you had like a lot of people who were like atheists in the movie, and in the crew, who converted to like Christianity. They had a priest who would handle conversions. Catholic, I think he was a Catholic priest, but I'm not. Yeah, well, it's Italy, so it probably was a Catholic priest. Even like the guy who plays Judas, who was like apparently he was like an atheist or whatever, shooting the movie, which he's only in the movie for like the first like 38 minutes of the movie, right? Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. But like this movie follows the last 12 hours of Jesus of Nazareth's life, where like he after the last dinner, which the last dinner is only shown in flashbacks. He's very like anxious and like dreading, like because dreading because he knows he's gonna be killed soon. Like Judas turned him into the high priest. They call him the high priest in the movie because there was this they don't show it in the movie, I don't think, but they're in the Bible. Jesus was pissed off at the rabbis because they set up like stalls for merchants to like sell stuff, and you had money lenders in the temple. So Jesus Christ got like a whip and like drove them out of the temple, all the merchants, all the money lenders. And so like after that the high priest wanted to kill Jesus, right? So they betrayed, like they had like Judas was offered 30 pieces of silver to sell out Jesus, which he immediately regrets, and then afterwards gets trolled by Satan and his demons. One of the demons is like 3-foot like middle-aged dwarf who like troll like Judas basically into suicide. He finds like he gets chased out of the city by like this gang of children, and like finds himself alone. And there was lots of scenes where like he'll see like demonic like visions of like demons and shit, which is like just creepy, like old, like creepy, like children, like shit like that. There's like he sees like a shadow demon version of himself, like after like he sells out Jesus in the early morning. And he finds like he's outside the city. He finds like a dead like donkey that's tied up in rope and like hangs himself. Hangs himself with the rope. There's gonna be a lot of spoilers. So Jesus, gets like arrested by the temple high priest. You see the scene where like during the arrest, like Peter fights off the guards, and that scene is pretty cool because it's like the only like real action scene in the movie, and it's like in the commentary, because I also watched the commentary. That's what took me so long. Dan and I had family come over, right? And I got a $50 Amazon gift card, which was nice. I wasn't expecting to get anything really, so it was like, oh, it was nice to get like Amazon gift card, and I finally got it was my cousins and his kids I bought the gifts for. If you saw my Christmas podcast, you know what I'm talking about, and they really enjoyed the gifts, and like even the girl really loved her Baby Yoda toy, which I didn't think she was going to like because she's like 11 or something. So I'm like, oh, she's not gonna like this like Baby Yoda figure. Oh, apparently she sleeps with it every night since she got it, which would have only been like 2 nights or whatever. Whatever, right? That's cool. So yeah, like Peter fights off the guards, and it's like they explained in the commentary like they shot the. There's a lot of scenes where they would shoot and like high frame rate, and then like and would slow it back down. So like that scene where like Peter's fighting the guards, it's very like it's like almost like what would you call it? Zack Snyder X, but like without the CGI. And like there's this scene where like Peter cuts the dude's ear off, and Jesus goes to pick up the ear, and he reattaches it to the guy's head, right where his missing ear was, and like you see like this like he was like the leader of the guards, and like you just see like he just like gets demoralized after that, like he starts to idolize Jesus Christ, and there's a lot of scenes where like he'll be like he'll be tormented by like people, and then like something will happen, and then they'll start to idolize him, right? Like one of the guards and like one of the bystanders in the movie that helped him left the cross, which like apparently like there's like debate, because like he probably wouldn't have to lift the whole cross, he would probably only have to carry the cross, like the bar that they would tie to your shoulders, and then they would reattach it to the pole, right? But like for aesthetic reasons, they chose to have Jesus Christ carry the cross, and it looks very and it also shows that that how persecuted Jesus Christ is compared to the other prisoners who are thieves, and you have like I think the other guy was a murderer, I'm not 100% sure. Where like they only have to carry the cross, the little bar section, where like Jesus Christ has to carry the whole cross, right? And like I also like that they were their depiction of Pontius Pilate was like he was a little like egotistical, like this stupid rabble, but like he very much didn't want to kill Jesus Christ. He even mentions the fact that like this guy was welcomed as like a hero 5 days ago, now you want him killed. And because like the Jews have rules where they're not they can't kill fellow Jews under their law, so they brought like Jesus to the Romans to have him killed, right? And like there's like scenes where like he'll like Pontius Pilate like will talk to his wife, and his wife very much doesn't want Jesus Christ because like I don't know if they straight up say she's a Christian, but like you get that vibe, right? So he gives them like choices, like he brings this like serial killer called Barabbas, which apparently that means like son of God in Aramaic, which I watched the Aramaic version of the movie, where that's the movie was shot with everybody speaking Aramaic, and then the Romans would speak Latin. Yeah, and there is a dub version, but I didn't watch the English dub version for obvious reasons. And apparently, they wanted like Mel Gibson wanted the movie like to not have subtitles at all, and people would just watch the Aramaic and Latin with the Aramaic and Latin. Because this movie is a very visual movie. You don't have to like know what they're talking about to get the idea of what's going on, right? That and the fact that everybody knows this story, right? You had to like read about it in like in school and shit, right? Well, that's if you went to public school, I guess you didn't. Sorry, I went to like Catholic schools all my life, because I'm a Catholic, right? Yeah. I actually got in trouble one time, because we got like we had to give our Catholic school money for Bibles, right? And we all got a Bible, and we got to draw covers for our make covers for our Bibles, right? So I drew a cover of Jesus Christ on the cross, which is the best, probably the best picture I ever drew in elementary school. But I got in trouble because you read the story, and I would have been like 8 or 10, I can't remember. I think I was like somewhere between 8 and 10. And I drew Jesus Christ with all them. And I actually drew it like it's a very good picture actually. I drew the cross, I drew Jesus on the cross, and I put all the whip marks and stuff, lashes, lacerations, cuts everywhere, with the crown of which the crown is made out of rose bush, so I had like blood, like dripping down from his face, dripping everywhere, blood dripping from his feet onto the floor, and it's like, yeah, everybody just snitched on me. It's the teachers, like, how could you, like, saying like this guy is like a heretic or whatever. They're calling me like a heretic or whatever because I drew like Jesus, like all messed up on the cross, and like I'm like, that's what happened. My defense was, that's a biblical accurate picture. Like, that's what happens in the story. You're gonna get me in trouble for painting Jesus, like drawing Jesus on the cross when that's what happened. Which back in the day, I'm sure the nuns would have, if we were taught by nuns, they would have whacked me with the ruler or something. But yeah. Also, when I was a kid, at my friend, I'm not gonna say his name, but like he would throw the best birthday parties, and we would watch like either horror movies at his house, or we would play video games, eat pizza and shit. But we would watch a lot of movies at his place, and we would watch either like horror movies or like sex comedies with boobies. Right? And like one year we were like, let's watch Passion of the Christ because it's like a horror movie, and they turned it off when we got to the whipping scene, right? Which is fucking brutal in this scene, right? Because like Pontius Pilate, after they requested, like, he tried to do this trick where he would like, okay, I could kill Jesus, but if I do that, I'm gonna release the serial killer. And they chose release the serial killer called Barabbas, who is which means the son of man, right? Which apparently there's some like analogy there, right? So after that, he's like, I'm not gonna kill him, I'm gonna have him chastised, right? So they beat him with sticks. They whip him with this cattail, which is a special kind of whip where it has different like lashes, and at the end of the lashes will be like this little like nail thing, right? So like one of the guards or Roman soldiers like whips at the guy's desk, and like the little nail things are stuck to the board, right? So they're whipping him with this thing, and there's one scene where like it like hits his rib, and it gets stuck. The little barbs get stuck in his rib, and they pull it out, and like you have a shitload of blood everywhere, and they're just beating the shit out of Jesus, right? And it's like very gruesome. You're seeing like lashes on his skin, like just after they hit him, which apparently they had like a post, right, set up where they would hit the post, and like Jim Caviezel would like react, right? But a couple times they would accidentally hit him, right? And yeah, they would accidentally hit him, And the beating of Jesus Christ in this movie, that's probably what earned the R rating. And there was a point where like you think that it's over, right? Because he's just like um, he's just like laying across, like lying on top of this thing, right? The post that he's like chained to. But no, they uncuff the guy, uncuffs his one hand, and then they just flip him over and start like whipping like his front, which is like what the fuck, dude. It's like, it's just brutal, this movie, dude. It's just yeah. And like apparently during the cross, when they put him on like on the cross, apparently Jim Caviezel popped his shoulder out. Or was that when he was carrying his cross? I can't remember. But yeah, he suffered. He got like a lot of abuse for this movie, and and apparently all the makeup effects for his wounds would take like 6 to 8 hours to apply. So he would have to show up like really early to apply makeup, and then work a full day. Which a full day on set is like 12 hours or something, 12 or 13 hours. It's like brutal, and like for him not to get a fucking Oscar for his performance in the movie, right, is insane. Like, right? Apparently, like, apparently there was some persecution for this movie, some prejudice for this movie, because they thought that like the movie was racist, obviously. Like, and yet, like, the movie was independently funded by like Mel Gibson and Icon Productions, which is Mel Gibson's production company, right? And like, it's just like, it was nominated for a bunch of stuff, but for it not to win anything. And then Jim Caviezel said after making this movie, his career was almost dead. Like, he would hardly get any roles. Like, there's a bunch of like straight to DVD movies, right, with Jim Caviezel, right? Even one, though I thought it was weird. Like, there's a movie where like he's in, and like a bunch of actors from this movie are in this Paul Feig movie, which is the guy who directed Lady Ghostbusters, right? Or whatever the fuck that movie is called, and Bridesmaids, where like Jim Caviezel like is in the movie where it's about this kid who escaped from a communist like concentration camp, and it's like, holy fuck, that sounds basic as hell. Who would think that Paul Feig would be in a movie like that? Which I think the movie's called Son of David. Let me just look for it, because the guy who plays Peter is also in the movie. So is the guy who plays Pontius Pilate. Oh my god, where is it? It's I Am David. It came out the same year as Passion of the Christ. Yeah, Paul Feig directed it. Paul Feig is also in the movie. What the fuck? Is American, man. Yeah, 12-year-old David escapes from a communist concentration camp with little more than a compass, a sealed letter, a loaf of bread, and instructions to carry the letter to Copenhagen, Denmark. Holy fuck! This movie sounds base as hell. I need to go. Holy shit! It made less than 300 grand at the box office. So this movie probably weird how the anti-communist movie bombed at the box office, and it has a pretty high rating on IMDb. It's 7.2 out of 10. That's actually pretty good. So I don't know, I might review that movie. Yeah, so wrap this review up. You have great cinematography, great acting from the actors. The music and score from the movie is great. The special effects here and there are a little weak, but it's it's 2004. CGI wasn't the best, but there's a lot of great practical effects, especially with the earthquake at the end of the movie, where Jesus Christ dies, and then there's a massive earthquake, and then the temple, because Jesus Christ told the rabbis, your temple will be destroyed in 3 days. I'll rebuild it, right? So like the temple gets split in half, right? And it looks fucking amazing, right? And then the face on the rabbi's face when they see their like temple destroyed is very satisfying because they sold Jesus out. Yeah, so I really love this movie. This is an art house movie, so I made a rule where I wouldn't review art house movies, but it's Christmas, we gotta make exceptions. So I'm giving this movie a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed this movie. You have to watch this movie at least once in your life, guys. Like, come on. All right, bye.